we're going to take this trigger and do something that's arguably useful. Let's say that we want to log what's happening on this categories table, and we want to log the user that made the change. And for whatever reason, we don't want that to happen on the categories table directly. Maybe it's a table that we don't want to touch, that can't be changed for some reason. So I'm just going to create here a new table called category log, and I'll do a log ID as an int, and I don't know why I'm using the designer. I just script this. Create table category log, log ID as an int, identity, and so I've created the category table, that category log table, and it's got nothing in it. And I'm just using an identity column with a log ID. So all I'm tracking is whoever made the change. We've used elsewhere in the course this username function, which returns DBO, or the username of whoever actually is, whatever context is accessing the database. And we're going to use that inside this trigger. So this is already set up as an alter. I'm going to leave no count on, but instead of doing print hello world here, I'm going to insert into the category. Did I use plural there? Category log. That was a mistake. That's going to annoy me. Category log. And I don't need to specify the identity column. That gets provided for me, so I'm just going to do username. And for the values, I'll use the username function. F5 to run that thing. And now when I go to add a new record into the categories table, like this one, now it's not apparent from the end user that anything different happened. One row was affected, which was the update. But if I go and look at that category log, now I have a new record in there that shows that this particular user inserted, they did something on this category table. Even this in its current state is not all that interesting. I'd probably want to capture the system time and add more columns in here. It'd be difficult to do whatever they were, to show why they were making this change, but this is a very quiet way to keep track of what's happening on the data in your tables. Sometimes I see students use these for validation, or use them to enforce referential integrity because they don't have foreign key constraints. These are all bad reasons to use a trigger, but sometimes they're effective when you need to make a change when the insert, update, or delete happened, like something like this, and we use them often for logging, for example. There's just a little bit more that we need to talk about related to triggers, and that's how to get an argument into the trigger. In a stored procedure, it was easy. We could just pass in information, but in a trigger, we don't have that same tool. So there's some other techniques that we need to use to control what happens on the inside of a trigger. Let's do that next.